that we shall read one verse before they take your son and see what is going on. Yes, what is going on with Abraham? There's a general comment, yes, about what happens. Let's see, this is chapter I'm browsing, and I hope that you can hear. If you cannot hear, please type. I'm browsing while speaking to you to open the Genesis 22:1. So I start with the Hebrew. ויהי אחר הדברים האלה, והאלוהים ניסה את אברהם. And it was after those things that the God was trying, this is experiment, yes, he want to test, God is testing Abraham, ויאמר עליו, and he told him, Abraham, and he says, here I am. Now let's read the English. Sometime later, God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, here I am, he answered. So the first verse or the first keyword here in this chapter is what? What do you think, Yanis? And did you hear, Yanis, the verse? ויהי אחר הדברים האלה, and after those things or happenings, yes, and והאלוהים ניסה את אברהם, and God tested Abraham. There is a test. Can you hear? Can you hear? Yes, you can. So this verse is very important because this is a frame. This is a frame to all what will follow about sacrificing the son. Testing. What kind of a test is it? Abigail, Yanis, what kind of a testing is it? What comes to test here? You can also write, because there's no sound coming at the moment. What comes into test or into a question? Why to test? Yes, it is also לנסות is to try. There's a stretching. He's stretching him. There is a saying by the sages that 10 times God tested or tried Abraham, and this was the last test or the final test or the 10th test. Yes? What comes into test? Usually when people go or students are in class, there is a test. Yes? The test or the format of the questioning, whether it's like free answering, writing sentences, or closed test to circle only the right answer, yes, it's a test. The one who puts the test wants to see if the one who answers the test is standing in some kind of, let's say, standard. Yes or no? Is that right? What is a test in university, in school, in class? Is it right? Yes? Or driving test, yes? People take driving lessons and from time to time there's a test. If they're, yes, crossing the test, if they manage, they get a driving license and they can drive a car. This is how it is in daily living. But what kind of a test is it? Why to try? Why to test? And what is the edge or, yes, of the testing? What is coming to question? Yes, test of understanding. Abraham test of his faith. Or what else can it be? You say Abraham is test for his faith, or what can be also a test of what? Yes? A test of what? What happens to people that they usually following orders? They assume that there is great commander, like a government, municipal, yes, authority, yes, yes. Test. What happens, yes, when there is like a suggestion, yes, or a letter that comes from the government or from any kind of source that says, do this and this and this and this, but the heart does not feel it's right. Now we are not speaking about Abraham. We are not speaking about Isaac. What happens if comes a regulation or a letter from the government to any authority that what is written in the letter does not correspond with life? What usually people are doing? Yes, still have to follow, you say. Yes, still have to follow. Okay. Today, by chance, I visited the bookshop and I saw on the shelf a book which its title is Don't Send Your Hand to the Boy. Again, the title in Hebrew, Al Tishlach Yadcha El Hana'ar. This is the title of the book in Hebrew. Don't send your hand to the boy. Ve'al ta'as lo me'uma. This is the second part, and do to him nothing. This is a title. This book also was translated to many, many other languages. The book was written by a rabbi. During the years he became a rabbi. His name is Lau. Lau. He was a child, age of 5 years, when he was taken to a concentration camp. Yes, there's a detailed story. He was taken at the age of 5, and he was the only child in this concentration camp. He was there for many years. I mean, as long as the war continues and extermination. But after a few years, at the end of the war, the Allies came to release the camp. And there was no clothes to dress him. There was no clothes for children. And the Allies dressed him, this boy, they dressed him with a Hitler-Jugend uniform. Because in Hitler's times, there was not just armies that were working for Hitler, there was also, youth movement. And they gave this little boy that survived concentration camps for 5 or 6 years. They dressed him in the Hitler-Jugend uniform because there was no dressing that fit children. All were adults. Later, he came to Israel. There was almost none were left from his family. He came to Israel to his aunt and to uncle, and when he grew up, he wrote this book, Don't Send Your Hand to the Boy. The title of the book comes from this chapter that you mentioned, Yanis, from Genesis 22, from the binding chapter. Don't send your hand to the boy. Now, when I asked in the beginning, now let's leave chapter 22 aside, and I ask in daily living, if you get a letter from municipality, from the government, from the mayor, from the president, from the prime minister, that the content of the letter is to kill and not support life, what would you do? And there was here an answer, just still have to obey. Yes, this is what happened to some German residents and other Europeans residents 80, 90 years ago. They just obey because it was written on a paper, because it was it was a command or regulation from a government, and they cooperated, and many, many millions of people were assassinated and killed. Now we are moving out from chapter 22 to a larger scale of happening. Do you understand? Do you understand the parallel question that we come up with? We are moving now from Abraham and Isaac. Yes? Story, chapter happening. We are moving to a larger picture for daily living. Yes, 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 Jack, yes, yes, COVID vaccination, yes, and so, yes. But this is vaccination. This is, yes, it's in the direction, yes, but what happens if the government say you should go and, do all kinds of... This is the question. So Abraham, and I wrote Yanis like an answer to the question. He was hearing his own brain, yes, because there's no communication. If you notice, Abraham does not speak. Sarah is not there. There's a beautiful midrash from Pirkei the Rabbi Eliezer, the chapters of Rabbi Eliezer the Great, that this chapter in a way adds more details which are not appearing here in the chapter, and they're fulfilling the gaps. In this chapters of Rabbi Eliezer, it has been said that not just Abraham and Isaac were walking towards Mountain Moriah, but they had two more additionals companionships. Two more others walked with them. And who are the two? Eliezer, his assistant, and Ishmael. So all of them four were walking in this day. Eliezer, his assistant, Ishmael, his son from Hagar, the Egyptian maid, Isaac, who came from Sarah, and Abraham. And so says the lore, the midrash, the legend, that four of them were walking. But at some point on the way, Abraham asked Eliezer and Ishmael to sit with a donkey, like they were four, were walking together. And suddenly Abraham decides, and he turns to Eliezer, his assistant, and to Ishmael, son of from Hagar. He says, "Hey, please sit here with the donkey. You two sit with the donkey, wait. And me and the boy, Isaac, will proceed towards the mountain." And this is the beautiful structure of a lore or a legend, because it fills the gaps. What happened in this morning? Because there aren't many details of what was happening. And why is the lore built the way it is? Because before, says the Lord, there were many people. There could be a conversation. But now, in a way, Abraham, what does he do? He neutralizes others that might converse, Eliezer and Ishmael, yes? He just neutralized them. Sit and wait for us. We're going to bow, Isaac and I. Yes, he says bow. He doesn't say sacrifice. Please pay attention to the lyrics. You, my servant, and my son from Hagar, sit and wait, and me and the boy will go and bow. Yes, and this is how he isolate any form of communication, of influence, of changing of his mind, because now he is left alone with Isaac, and Isaac is isolated. There is no Sarah, there is no nanny, there is no neighbor, there is no friend, there is no even Ishmael, there is not even Eliezer, the great helper and the teacher, no one, just the, so to speak, the Father and his conviction that he is the Father and this is the Son, and he has to give Isaac life in return. This is this is exchange. This is to prove his love. Yes, this is a process. Please pay attention. He has to kill someone to prove something. Yes, this is the world of duality. So first he isolates Isaac and himself. Nobody can watch or notice or give criticism. Why do you take him? What are you going to do? So Isaac is left with him, and they're walking together. Ishmael and Eliezer are neutralized. There is no conversation, and at some point and he tells them that he's going to bow. He doesn't tell them that he's going to sacrifice and burn Isaac, because if he will tell them what he's planning to do, they will try to convince him or to say, why are you doing this? So he prevents them, so they don't know about this. He uses another verb to vague their perception of what is going to happen. And meanwhile, when they are neutralized, he's walking with Isaac. He doesn't speak. He doesn't express anything because he hides his intention. But Isaac noticed there's the great silence, and he asked, but where is the lamb? This is the wood and this is the fire, but where is the lamb to sacrifice? So 1, 2, 3. Yes, and he just rubs him with it. God will find him the lamb. Yes, he's hiding. Pay attention, he's hiding the intention. There is intention here from Isaac. Yes, and he thinks that if he will sacrifice, yes, and what does it mean? He has to bind, he has to walk until the mountain to climb. This is a process, to walk until the mountain, to go with wood, with ropes, with fire, with knife. There's a lot. If you want to look at it as go camping, this is a lot of things to prepare before you go, and you have to think and organize. So it's not like let's say it's not a dance that comes naturally. No, he plans every step on the way to do it. And he thinks in his mind, this is the tricks of the mind. This is what the sages say in the Bible. Do not believe in yourself until your last moment. Until the last moment there is of breathing, there is the narration going on. No one can stop it. So therefore, don't listen to this narration. This is why we have conversations. So conversations are being held all the time. So Abraham continues, and when Isaac asks, but where is the lamb? This is the wood and the fire, but where is the lamb? And Abraham hides his intention and says, God, we shall see the lamb, my son. Yes, and then he takes Isaac and binds him with ropes and lift his knife to slaughter. Please pay attention, this is a very complex movie, because he binds Isaac on the altar, arms and legs. He lifts his knife first to slaughter him, to shed his blood, and then what? To burn the corpse, so to speak, the deceased. This is a how do you say, a murder with intention? Yes, yes, in court. Yes, it has intention. It brings all that everything is pointed to this point. And what is the test here? And this is why it is also considered the last test of Abraham, or the 10 test. What is the test here? To show him that there isn't any two. Who comes with the term of a father? Who comes with the term of a son? Does the infinite needs a sacrifice from temporary appearance? This is all. This madness is happening in his brain, and he is going to execute it. He was until the moment of executing this nightmare. But behold, there are others. There's another higher thought than his, that says, here in the second of the bushes, there's a ram. This is a higher thought. And he stops. But Isaac already lost his breath, lost his sight. And from this day on, guess what? There's a beautiful lore that says that Isaac was, after the binding, Isaac stayed next to the mountain. He was just being there with the plants, the trees, animals. He did not trust any human being afterwards. It just was with nature, listening to the sounds of the birds, of the trees, of the wind. He did not trust anyone. And in the book of Sefer HaYashar, the book of Jesher in English, but Jesher is, how do you say, is an awkward way in English to say Yashar. Yashar, Sefer HaYashar is the straight book or the honest book. And why this book is named the honest book? Because it is written there what is really happening, not what people tell themselves stories. And in the book of Jesher, there is a lore that says that when Isaac was taken to the mountain, the devil was sent to Sarah, because Sarah did not know that Abraham is taking Isaac to the mountain to sacrifice him. He was isolating everyone, Sarah, Ishmael, Eliezer, everyone. And the devil says that Abraham took Isaac to the mountain to sacrifice him, and Sarah, he was trying to tell her the whole story, but before he managed to say that he did not, she already, because this child came to be when she was 90. Yes, he appears here. And she could not hear it. Yes, this is the Diablo, the duality. She could not hear the story, and she died. And therefore, the next chapter is Chaye Sarah, Vatamat Sarah, and Sarah died as what? As a consequence. Not so much as a consequence, people say consequence, but she died when she heard it. But if we look at this story not as a happening between father, son, and the mother, what does it mean? Yes? Beyond space and time. What does it mean? Panoramic? Yes, from this great lens. In order, yes, that the child will be born here, there is a need of condition of the two, man and wife, yes? And then there's appearance of a child. But once, and here, yes, once Isaac, yes, so to speak, was put aside, like there was a threat on his life, also time as Sarah is being removed. Yes, because what connects the father and the son? You could say the mother. If the mother is not with the father, there is no son. So this is the shackle that connects them. But if we don't look at the story as father, mother, and son, but cause and effect, what comes between cause and effect? Time. So if there's no cause and there is no fact, there is no time, and Sarah is out. Do you understand? There are many, many lenses of which we can approach the story. We could look at father, son, mother. Yes, but this is very childish way to look at the Bible because it's like self-centered. The bigger picture is cause, effect, and what is between cause and effect? Time. Yes? But before time, yes, before time, we cannot speak of cause, effect, the duration of time, or any process. And this is the story of the binding of Isaac. In duality, in space and time, the eyes are testifying who was before and who comes after. Since Abraham was before, or the elder, comes a new new life is coming, and suddenly we, as speaking languages, we are saying that the one who was before is the father, and the new life that just pops is the son. Yes, but from infinite perspective, this does not exist. Only through the lens and time comes this weird framing of father and son. Not from the infinite perspective, only from finite, only from space and time. So, returning to Yanni's question about the father and son, yes, this speech that he hears in his brain or his mind, take your son. Who has a son? Where son appears? Consequences of what is the son? Only in time there is a son. Yes, because the brain can catch only appearances. So the previous appearance, yes, is Abraham or the father, and the current appearance is Isaac, therefore he is the son. Yes, this is to the eyes of the beholder, to the eyes of the flesh, not from the infinite perspective. This is why it doesn't happen. It does not succeed. And this is why this, according to the sages, considered to be his last test. Yes? Like we have 10 spheres or 10 fingers, and the last, yes, is just don't do because you're not supposed to do. You're not a doer. You're being deceived. Yes? And this is it. And we can also learn, yes, from this book. Don't send your hand to the boy, and I can post it later in Hebrew and English. It was translated to many languages. Don't send your hand to the boys. How this same is much larger. It's not between like two people in the bushes that nobody sees that the father is beating the children or slaughtering them. It's much bigger when it scales up into dimension of a nation or of nations, of millions. What happens then? This is a beautiful story. And thank you, Yanis, for the question, for posting it, for participating here. Thank you, Abigail, for listening. We're so happy that you're here. And from this Monday and on, we shall always maintain those sessions at 16 hours Israel time. This is a winter clock because there was a shift, and we hope that you'll join us again. Meanwhile, feel free to ask any question that you like. And you can also take a look at the web app. Yes, this is a Bible web app application. It's on the PC and on every telephone. You can test it and you can tell us what is your experience. And if there are bugs, we can fix it. It is made or prepared with love for all of you. So we are so happy to share it with you. תודה, Abigail. תודה, Yanis. And see you soon. להתראות.